The following is a special presentation of the Simulation Football League.
And the handoff goes to Johnny English, who breaks out of it. Still going, Johnny English! And English will score! Touchdown, Renegades! He caught it between two defenders! OKC is taking the lead! Matsumoto back to throw. He's in trouble again! This is insanity from Jordan Gray! Look at Gunner! 20, 10, it's a runaway! Touchdown, Gunner! It's Icho! Oh, he made three people miss! Icho breaks a tackle! He's done it again! Touchdown! Hand off to Snowden up the middle, now tries to cut it right. Beautiful move by Snowden! He's in the open field! Midfield! 40, 30, 20! Richard Snowden to the half! Touchdown, Dragons! Back to pass. Looking fumble the football! And it is recovered by Orlando at the 17! High formation handoff to Overstreet around the right-hand side. Overstreet picks it up on, and there he goes! Overstreet! Touchdown!
Welcome to Con-Pro Field in Buffalo, New York. It's been a wild 9 weeks for both Carolina and Queen City, but we're here on the big stage for a big game. 3-6 versus 3-6. Someone's got to win it, and whoever wins it tonight gets a huge advantage and a huge step up in the Grey Conference chase for 4th place and the right to make the playoffs. Queen City's been there plenty of times. They've won 3 titles. Carolina is looking to go for just the 2nd time in franchise history and the 1st since moving to Raleigh. Coin toss is next.
Okay, Joe. Made it to the show. Gentlemen, please make your call.
We'll take heads.
Heads it is.
We'll kick.
The Stars have won the toss and select a kick.
So Carolina will kick it away and put their defense on the field first. Winner goes to 4-6. A huge game in the Grey Conference and in the SFL tonight. Carolina, kick it! We're underway. From the 10, Caswell on the return. Past the 25, 30 to the 31. Daniel Garcia is the Queen City quarterback. And so far this season, Garcia's quarterback efficiency not good. 78.4%, or 78.4, 2,566 yards, 16 touchdowns, but 20 interceptions has crippled this Corsair offense. Just getting underway here. T.E. Haynes III is in the backfield, and he'll get the handoff. Right side, Haynes breaks off a tackle and picks up 7. 2nd and 3 coming up for Queen City. It's been an interesting season for T.E. Haynes III. Overall, 656 rushing yards on 98 carries. He is averaging 6.7 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns, and 72.9 yards per game. Since Queen City has gotten him more involved in the offense, they've started to turn things around just a bit. Haynes is going to get another handoff. Left side, Haynes has a first down to the 42-yard line. And a nice start for Queen City. Santa Fe and Orlando will get underway on SFLN 3 as soon as possible. Tallahassee and Oklahoma City with Andy Hamilton on the call on SFLN 2. And obviously Carolina, Queen City here on the main network tonight. Back-to-back runs for Haynes. Picks up a first down for the Corsairs on their opening drive. Haynes is going to get it again. Right side, Haynes has some room. Spins away from a tackle. Haynes in the open field. 35-30. And breaks another one. 25-20. Inside the 10. Haynes has a touchdown. T.E. Haynes, 3 carries and a score on Queen City's opening drive. And what a start for the number 1 pick in the rookie draft, who is finally starting to show signs of life. And what a start for the Corsairs on the big stage. Spec Poo, you're asking about the video quality. Twitch actually just launched its HTML beta player, and that's why video quality setting adjustments has returned. So we're super happy about that, of course. High snap, the extra point for Queen City is good. And the Corsairs take an early 7-0 lead on 3 carries from T.E. Haynes. Running the football, Haynes, for the first time since week 3, had double-digit carries last week, and it resulted in his first 100-yard game of the season. 181 yards on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns, but Queen City could not keep pace with the Dallas Roughnecks, who dominated the game from start to finish. Maurice Spurgeon on the return from the 9 past the 30 to the 32. So Carolina's quarterback is Jamison Monroe, a quarterback rating that's dead last in the league. 52.7 QBR, 8 touchdowns, 20 picks. He's been a mess this year. 1,540 yards. They want him to be a game manager and give Johnny English the football. Will he be a good manager of this game tonight? Monroe will start with a throw. Fakes a pass, throws it across the field. Shan Varner makes the catch for the first down. Varner has been very uninvolved in this offense. Just 12 catches in 9 games for 140 yards and 1 score. But Varner gets involved on Carolina's first offensive play, and they move the chains up to the 48-yard line. Two in the backfield for Monroe. Monroe will pass again, and Monroe fires down the middle. It's off the hands of the intended receiver and picked off. That was not Monroe's fault, but Freeman Peltier makes the interception for Queen City. And if my memory serves me right, that is his first interception of his rookie season. He had a fumble return or a fumble recovery last week, and Peltier gets his first interception of his career and the first turnover of tonight's game. And this game has started ugly for Carolina. Two receivers, or 2 in the backfield. Haynes takes the carry, picks up 1. Spec Poo, I got an email from Twitch about the beta player, so I'm pretty sure that I know what's going on. 2nd down and 9 at the Carolina 45. Whether or not other channels have received the upgrade, I have no idea. 8:40 to go in the first. Corsairs are up a touchdown, and they're now in Carolina territory. Yeah, and it was a fumble return for a touchdown. I thought it was. I didn't want to speak out of turn, but Peltier reminding me with a text from the sideline. That pass is caught by Jake Legacy to the Carolina 39. It'll be 3rd down and 3 coming up for Queen City. The Corsairs in the white helmets and the bright green jerseys and pants with the white numbers and black trim. Carolina white helmets, white jerseys, blue pants with the red lightning bolts, the red numbers, and the blue bevel on the numbers. 3rd down and 3 at the 39. Tight set here. It's going to be Haynes again on the carry. Haynes has a first down. Haynes breaks a tackle outside the 20, inside the 10, and down to the 2. T.E. Haynes is dominating Carolina in the opening few minutes. He is on fire. And this is just a simple off-tackle run to the right side, but Carolina is just not prepared for it. And Carolina's run defense coming into the game actually 7th in the league, 99.3 yards per game given up. They are not a shabby run defense. But T.E. Haynes, the third, already has, I'm sure, 99 yards here in the first few minutes. High formation, it's going to be Haynes again, this time left side, and nearly dragged Avery King into the end zone. A $107 for T.E. Haynes the third. Back-to-back 100-yard games after not registering a 100-yard game in Queen City's first 8. And what a time to be alive for the rookie running back. 7.5 to go in the first. Carolina is getting hit with a buzzsaw here in the first few minutes. John English hasn't even gotten a carry. T.E. Haynes will be stopped for a 4-yard loss in the backfield. Tony Willis making the tackle. And it'll be 3rd and goal for Queen City. Let's meet the Corsair offense. Number 18, Daniel Garcia is the quarterback. T.E. Haynes III is the running back. Receivers, Jake Legacy. Greg Caswell, number 80. J.J. Howland, number 11. Tight end, number 87. Alexander Shayatovich. 2 receivers, 1 to either side. Back to pass, Garcia. And Garcia will fire left side. Wide open for a touchdown. Jake Legacy, it's 13-0. This is the start Queen City dreamed of, as Blake Chance just lets Legacy go. I'm not sure why, because there was no one else to cover Jake Legacy, and why would there be? And Chance gives up an easy touchdown at the goal line, and Daniel Garcia has his 17th passing touchdown of the season, his 8th to Jake Legacy. That leads the team, and that leads all receivers playing in this game. The extra point for the Corsairs is good, and it's 14-0 Corsairs, despite not a single catch so far for Alexander Shayatovich, who's second on the team in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. They haven't needed them so far tonight. So we're underway from Santa Fe and from Orlando, rather. That hurricane is blowing in a couple of days, and Orlando's certainly happy that their game didn't get pushed back a couple of more nights, as these games were originally slated for Sunday. Spurgeon returns up to the 30-yard line.
First and 10.
6:40 to go in the first. 14-0 Queen City on top of Carolina. 2 backs and 2 receivers, and Johnny English takes the handoff. English around the left side, trying to bounce off a tackle. Nothing doing. Greg Morrison shuts it down on the left side. No gain, 2nd down and 10.
Second and 9. Ball at the 30-yard line.
6:12 to go in the first. Carolina looking for some momentum. They're going to try English again up the middle, and English picks up 3. 3rd down and 7 coming up for Carolina. Let's take a look at Queen City's run defense real fast as we break down the matchups in this game. Scoring defense is 12th for the Corsairs. They give up over 30 points per game. Trying to correct that tonight. Total defense is 9th. Pass defense is 4th. Back to pass Monroe. He's going to go long down the field in one-on-one coverage. It's picked off again. And on the outside, I'm trying to get a look at who made the interception. That's Eric Arrington. And the corners for Queen City are playing outstanding football on the double move by Sean Harrelson. The pass was overthrown. And Queen City, it's all Corsairs here in the first quarter. By the way, Queen City's run defense is dead last in the league, 131.9. Halfway through the first, and the Corsairs are looking like they want 4 and 6 Although a nice job by Avery King in the backfield to stop T.E. Haynes. It'll be second down and long. Avery King still leads this team in tackles with 86, although his numbers have gone down over the course of the season. 64 tackles, 22 assisted, leads the team in tackles for loss with 12. Have 3 different players with at least 10 tackles for loss, including Nick Fargo and Bobby Law. Second down and 12, back to pass. Garcia sidearm throw is picked off and returned past the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. I believe that is Tristan Hatley with the INT for Carolina, making a big play in the flat as Hatley takes the ball away from Caswell, and Carolina forces the first turnover of the game, and the Skyhawks finally have a bit of momentum here in the first quarter. It's 6-0 Tallahassee with 2:30 to go in the first. We'll keep you updated on the games around the league tonight. Monroe has an empty backfield, will drop back and pass again. He has been terrible so far, and a loss of 6 on the sack will make it second and long. Lane with the takedown. Yeah, and against this last-ranked run defense, Johnny English, 2 carries, 3 yards. Jay Holder has not touched the football, and I don't expect to see much of him here on second and long now after the sack. Monroe back to pass. He'll fire down the middle. It's picked again. Monroe is awful. That is intercepted and returned to the 34-yard line. Pick made by Arrington again. 3 possessions, 3 interceptions for Carolina, and eventually the mistakes have to stop for the league's worst quarterback. 23 picks in 10 games. Can Carolina's defense step up and get a stop? They are needed badly here. This could not have started worse for the Skyhawks. Handoff Haynes. That has worked, although he cut it back middle. That play has worked pretty effectively so far tonight. There you see the difference in the running backs. Haynes is at 105. Bobby Law on the tackle. Let's meet the Carolina Skyhawk defense, led by the corners on the outside. Blake Chance, number 27. Maurice Spurgeon, number 21. Strong safety, number 31, Tony Willis. Tristan Hatley is the free safety who had that INT. Nick Fargo is the defensive end, number 92. Linebackers, Avery King and Bobby Law. T.E. Haynes fighting for first down yardage will bring up a third down and 1. A pickup of about 6. The SFL is presented by Dax Stats and OBS Studios, celebrating our 7th season here on Twitch.tv. .320 to go in the first. Queen City all over Carolina early, but there's still a lot of football left to be played. Third down and 1. T.E. Haynes gets away from a tackle. Avery King with the eventual stop, but it's a first down for the Corsairs into Skyhawk territory. And a nice stat from Landry Hatt in the chat room. 15 picks in 5 games for Monroe. That's an average of 3 a game, and that's not going to get it done. Two receivers off to the left side for Queen City. 4 down linemen for Carolina. Garcia will drop to throw. Garcia fires outside. Pass caught Legacy. And Legacy picks up 7 to the Skyhawk 41-yard line. .225 remaining. Carolina, not necessarily a team you think about when you think about playing from behind. Out of the eye, T.E. Haynes, a busy man tonight. They are just milking him. 3rd down and 4, still averaging 10 yards a carry. Blake Chance, though, with a nice spear behind the line, and this is Carolina's chance to get off the field. And with 3 turnovers on their first 3 possessions, if they can get the ball back down just a couple of scores and put a nice solid drive together. That'd be a huge victory for the Skyhawks. Back to pass, Garcia, straight drop, fires deep down the field, and that is not going to fly. Tristan Hatley with the pass defended. He has been playing some phenomenal football here in the first quarter, and Garcia has not been able to hook up with Greg Caswell on the 2 intended targets. Hatley there both times, and Carolina's defense gets the stop to force the Melton punt. And at least Carolina hasn't let this get too out of hand, but they've got to stop turning the ball over. Low snap, Corsairs kick it away. And inside the 10, sliding to make the stop, they did. Down at the 3-yard line. What a punt from Queen City. They've got it all going on in the first quarter. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Cameron Irvine. This is Wednesday Night Football on the SFL Network on Twitch TV, the start of Week 10, and we're happy to have you along for all the action. 3 in the backfield for Carolina as they start their 4th drive of the quarter. Trying to just complete one without an interception. Johnny English is in trouble in the backfield, just got away. Picked up only a yard. Aquantis Shine on the tackle, and let's meet the rest of that Corsair defense. Corners on the outside, Eric Arrington, who already has 2 picks. Freeman Peltier has 1. He's the opposite corner. Free safety number 42, Greg Morrison. Strong safety number 12, Jesus Salvador. Linebackers number 55, DJ McCoo, who leads the league in tackles, and number 58, Aquantis Shine. Hand off to the fullback, Jay Holder, and he bounces off a block and picks up a solid 5 yards up the middle. And that's what Carolina needs. They're going to need Jay Holder and Johnny English to be a dynamic duo against the league's worst run defense and stay out of the 3rd and 2nd and long situations. Jamison Monroe clearly has not brought his best tonight. 3rd down and short. Monroe's going to throw. Monroe over the middle. Oh, it's dropped. It's dropped by Shan Varner. And that was a great throw from Monroe, but there's nothing you can do about that. And ever since the completed pass to Shan Varner on Monroe's first attempt, this Carolina passing attack, whether it's been Monroe with the bad throws or the drop there from Varner, just can't get going, and Queen City's going to end up with great field position. 5:33 to go in the first quarter in Orlando. The Intimidators up on the Gorillas 3-0. From the 40, Caswell on the return, and he is hammered at the 38. "12 carries in the first quarter for T.E. Haynes. He has been a man on a mission for 120 yards. He's going to get carry number 13 here. Haynes to the outside, and Carolina does their best job stretching out T.E. Haynes on that play, and Gibbs, big number 75, out there to make the stop. 2nd and 12 coming up, and Queen City, no doubt, is trying to hammer down on T.E. Haynes and limit Garcia's mistakes. They have done that so far. Carolina has not, and that has been the difference in this first quarter. Hand off to Haynes again, and Haynes will break away. Picks up 3. 3rd down and 9 at the Carolina 37, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter of play. It's been all Corsairs. Carolina needs to wake up, or they're falling to 3-7 with their playoff hopes taking a significant hit. From Conpro Field in Buffalo, we'll be back after this. It's 3rd down and 9 for Queen City. Garcia back to pass. That pass is caught in double coverage. for a first down to the 20. That's Greg Caswell finally making a connection with Daniel Garcia, and it's a packed house tonight in Buffalo. Cheering on their three-time defending champion, or three-time champion, Queen City Corsairs, who have never made the playoffs following winning a title, but still have a definitely a good chance to still get back there. And if there's any indicator of this first half, they are still a dangerous team. Garcia back to pass. He's going to float it into the end zone. Knocked away by Tony Willis. 2nd and 10 coming up. Carolina wishing, man, if we could have just turned that into a pick. On a corner route, Caswell couldn't make the touchdown. Caswell's been targeted 4 times in this first half to little effect.
Second and 10 from a star, 20-yard.
32 yards and a pick for Garcia early. And a 4-3 defense out of Carolina. Hand off to Haynes. Haynes tried to get around the corner. Avery King picks him up and throws him down. 3rd down and 8 coming up at the 18. Of course, Queen City in obvious field goal range, but Carolina looking for any positives as the first half wears on. Four receivers, 2 to either side, an empty backfield for Garcia. Carolina's defense looking to get off the field. Garcia back to pass, steps up in the pocket, fires, lofts it into the end zone, wide open. Jake Legacy for a Corsair touchdown. They are running away with it. Legacy, for the 2nd time in this first half, is wide open. And this time, Hatley blew the coverage. Wow, Queen City leaving their mark. A lot of football left to be played. But they have jumped out to a furious start. 21-0. Our last report from Oklahoma City with 9:39 to go in the second. Tallahassee blanking the Renegades on the road in an important game in the Teal Conference, 13-0. The extra point is good, and it's 21-0. Queen City over Carolina. From the 6-yard line, Maurice Spurgeon past the 20, 25 to the 26. Carolina needs something. They'd love a big run out of Johnny English here to flip the script. And Queen City has to be a bit careful. Garcia is forcing some passes down the field. T.E. Haynes is going to get tired, real tired, if he continues at this pace. And Carolina certainly has shown that their offense can compete. They put up 30 last week against Cleveland. English takes the handoff, right side, and Johnny English is hit hard. A gain of just 2. English 7 yards in the first half. Haynes a $124, well on his way to a career high.
All right. 2nd and 7.
9:20 to go in the first half. Carolina must stay patient, must stick to their game plan. They're not going to win a pass fest with Queen City, that's for sure. Monroe hands it off to English. He's got a nice hole up the middle. English picks up 6. 3rd down and short. Now the last 3rd down and short for Carolina, they decided to pass. Varner was wide open and he dropped it. We'll see what they do here. English around the end, first down. Nice run from English, 3rd down and short. Eight and a half to go. Eric Arrington with 2 picks. Freeman Peltier with another. Orlando is up on Santa Fe 10-0 with 1:41 to go in the first quarter at the Arashi Dome. Back to pass for Monroe. Monroe left side, fires, tipped away. Looked like he had a man open. That was Hamrack on the outside. But good deflection by the Corsair defense. This Carolina offense, Monroe, English, the outside receivers, Harrelson and Zeli, neither have a catch. Blake Hamrack is the 3rd receiver. Tight end Shan Varner along with number 87 Clint Hendershot in the center, number 55 Heath McDaniel Jr. Out of the gun again for Monroe. Dumps it short. Pass caught Varner. Picks up 3, but it's 3rd down and 7. So 8 minutes and counting here in a dominating first half for Queen City. Oklahoma City just scored a touchdown. 5:39 to go in the first half there. Tallahassee leads the Renegades 13-7. Trips off right side. 7:40 to go, first half. Back to pass Monroe. There is a flag down. That pass is caught. What a play by Varner. In double coverage, including a Qantas Shine. Penalty will be waved off, and Carolina gets into Queen City territory. That was Monroe's best pass of the first half. And the penalty was actually on Shine, according to the official stats. But Carolina starting to get a rhythm finally here in the first half. First and 10 at the Corsair, 44. Trips off right side. English in the backfield. And the handoff to English right side and drags the defender all the way to the 39. That was, I believe, Salvador trying to make the tackle. English is up to 3.3 yards per carry. 2nd down and 5 at the Corsair 39. Harrelson is at the top of the screen. 2 in the backfield. 2nd down. English will take the handoff with Holder as a blocker, but Holder whiffed the block. And the loss is for 2 yards. And Jay Holder just didn't pick him up. He went down the field too fast. And it puts Carolina in a 3rd and long situation. They're going to need to convert here. Looks like Varner is out to the left side, trips off to the right. And English in the backfield. Monroe back to pass. And he's going to throw it short. And turning the corner was Hamrack. But he gains just 5 yards. It's 4th down and 2 at the Queen City 36. And if I'm Carolina, I think about going for this. You're sort of in no man's land here. You can't kick a field goal. You're down 21. You might as well give your offense a chance to convert, and that's exactly what they're going to do. A big 4th down and 2 here out of the eye for Carolina. Queen City's already jumped offside once, down to 8 on the play clock. Is Carolina actually going to snap the ball, or are they going to pin Queen City deep? And they're going to pin Queen City deep, and I just don't agree with it. I think Carolina was probably served every time Johnny English has touched the ball on this drive. He's gotten at least 2 yards. Why not on 4th down and 2? But Carolina certainly playing it passive with their offense. And they'll trust in that defense that has been on the field early and often in this contest. So 6:04 remaining in the first half. Carolina needs a really good punt here to pin Queen City inside the 10. This punt will go to the 11-yard line and will actually be returned by Caswell to the 13. Not what Carolina had in mind. And the struggles for the Skyhawks continue. If you're just joining us, This is Wednesday Night Football. Queen City 3-6 against Carolina 3-6 from Conpro Field in Buffalo, New York. Believe it or not, this is a huge game for playoff positioning as a number of teams in the gray are battling for that fourth and final playoff spot behind some dominant teams from Baltimore, Dallas, and Louisville. T.E. Haynes gets around the edge, spins away from 2, from 3, finally brought down 131 yards in the first half. That was Nick Fargo, the defensive end, coming all the way over to finally make the stop. 2nd down and 3. Carolina's defense up tight. 2nd and short. T.E. Haynes trying to stretch it outside, going backwards, and a big play made by the Carolina Skyhawks, but they mark him forward progress at the 17. And honestly, I'm not sure that is credible, because T.E. Haynes looked like he started moving backwards in a particular direction, which would eliminate the forward progress. Instead, it's a 3rd down and 6. Garcia going to throw down the field, wide open. It's caught for a 1st down to the 38 by J.J. Howland, and nothing is going right for Carolina in an ugly first half. Yeah, the Skyhawk defense just left the slot receiver, and what could have been a 3rd and very long ends up a 3rd and manageable, which Garcia converts. Out of the eye. Handoff Haynes with some pressure up the middle. Haynes picks up 3, just churning this clock in the first half. Man, this has been a shocking night so far around the league. Garcia with 70 yards and a couple of touchdowns, along with the 1 interception by Hatley. He has not tested Chance and Spurgeon. He's taken advantage of matchups when they weren't involved in the play. T.E. Haynes turning forward. I believe Fargo on the stop. No, number 90 with the tackle. But a 3rd down and inches coming up for Queen City. T.E. Haynes has been a monster. Third down and short. Look at Carolina up close on the line, looking for a big-time stop. Needing to get off the field. They're not going to do it. T.E. Haynes is running wild to the Carolina 36-yard line. Man, this Queen City offense has found a rhythm, I got to tell you. A nice block on the outside. Willis with the eventual tackle. And off to Haynes, left side, picks up 2. Alexander Shayatovic still without a catch in this first half, and it has not mattered in the least. Good, another good stat from Landry Hat. Most rushing attempts this season, 45. That was by Philo Celestino, and that was only because it was a double overtime game. .228 to go in the first half here from Conpro Field. And off to Haynes. Haynes past the 30 to the 29.5. 3rd down and 4 coming up. Queen City's in scoring position. A look at the league leaders from around the SFL. Julian Tyree is now the league's #1 passer. Darnell Black, the league's #1 rusher. He has been for at least a month. Jordan Jennings moves into the top spot as a receiver. We've hit the 2-minute warning. This is the SFL Network. Mentioned McCoo leading the league in tackles, O'Reilly in sacks, Casper in interceptions with 11. in 9 games coming into the night. Garcia on a 3rd down and short will fire to the sideline and going backwards. Now that time they called forward progress maybe more correctly. Jake Legacy actually would have had the 1st down if he would have kept moving forward, but he ran backwards to turn around and stopped his momentum. By the way, look at that turnover margin leader. Houston, plus 10 in turnover margin. That leads the league coming into week 10, but it'll result in a field goal for Queen City due to the gaffe there by Legacy. That's about the only mistake Queen City's made so far tonight. The 43-yard field goal is good. It's that type of night for Queen City. They continue to roll 24-0 over Carolina. Carolina has to be scratching their head as Ship boots this through. They looked really good against Cleveland last week in a 28-20 win, but dominated in most phases of the game, and their corners were outstanding. Queen City has neutralized those gold corners, really have taken them completely out of the game. In fact, I have not seen Daniel Garcia throw to Blake Chance or Maurice Spurgeon in their direction one time in this first half, as Spurgeon returns to the 27. And of course, a couple of weeks ago, Carolina lost on the road 48-6. And the Skyhawks have not been a good road team at all. 40-14, 33-17, 48-6 losses. And overall, Carolina just 1-3 on the road this year coming in. Their one win against Tallahassee, 20-17. Jay Holder, the fullback handoff, and he gets caught from behind. A loss of 1, 2nd and 11 for Carolina, playing a first half to forget. Some score updates, 2:19 to go in the first half. Oklahoma City has scored back-to-back touchdowns. They have taken a 14-13 lead over Tallahassee. And with 8:53 to go in the first half, Orlando still has a slight edge over Santa Fe, 10-7. Back to pass Monroe, and he has to fire it away to English. English breaks off a tackle. English another, has a first down, still on his feet. Johnny English to the Queen City 48, and Carolina calls a timeout. Tight roping the sideline. Monroe gets it out of his hands just in the nick of time, and a phenomenal play by Johnny English. I don't know how he stayed in bounds here. Just an incredible effort, and we may see him step out here on the replay. Let's see. Oh, they're going to cut it short. Are we going to see a booth review? He may have stepped out on that 3rd attempt. No need to look at it. What a play from English. Easily the best play of the half for Carolina. Out of the gun, Monroe to pass, trying to string something together before the end of the half. Varner picks up 5, Peltier on the tackle, his 2nd.
Second and 4. Ball at the 32-yard.
1:05 on the clock. Carolina is down to just 1 timeout. Queen City has 3. Out of the eye, no need to hurry things for Carolina. Out to English. English has a first down and gets out of bounds to the Queen City 35. Even a field goal here from Carolina, as long as Queen City does not continue to extend the lead, and they potentially can cut into the lead, would be huge for the confidence of the Skyhawks as they try to mount a comeback. And if we've learned anything from the SFL, there's plenty of time left.
First and 10. Ball at the 45-yard.
3 in the backfield for Monroe. Again, Carolina with just the 1 timeout. Hand off to Holder, up the middle. Holder is stopped almost immediately. Gain of just a yard, and no huddle here for Carolina. Hand off again to Holder, trying to bounce it outside, and Carolina burns their last timeout. That wasn't fooling anyone. A Qantas Shine on the stop. It'd be a 50-yard field goal from here, which Carolina might want to try to make it a 3-touchdown game without any 2-point conversions here at the tail end of the half. Again, Skyhawks are out of timeouts. Two in the backfield for the Skyhawks on 3rd down and 8. After back-to-back Holder runs, we're not fooling Queen City. Monroe, 3-step drop against a blitz. Fires down the middle, nearly intercepted. Harrelson was the intended receiver. Harrelson and Zeli have no catches in the first half. And I think Carolina may try a field goal from 50. Yeah, I think at this point in the game, you have to try to put points on the board. They haven't had a lot of opportunities. It'll actually be a 49-yarder. 31 seconds to go until the half. Tallahassee has regained the lead over the Renegades, 16-14. From 49 yards away, Carolina has struggled kicking the ball this year. Can they get some much-needed points? And it's short. No good. The field goal woes for Carolina continue. This has been a disaster. Queen City takes over with 3 timeouts, 35 seconds left, and the ball on their 40. 3 receivers, 2 off to the right side. Hand off to T.E. Haynes. A lot of room up the middle. Picks up 9 and a timeout, Queen City. Corsairs near midfield. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Orlando has scored again. They lead Santa Fe 17-7 as the Gorillas are trying to keep pace with the Sioux Falls Sparrows, who play Saturday night against Houston. 2 in the backfield for the Corsairs, who have had their best half of football this season. T.E. Haynes, another first down, the Carolina 48. Corsairs have 2 timeouts. They're choosing to sit on them. Hand off to Haynes again. This time he's blown up. Avery King smacks him down. And it looks like Queen City is content on running this half out and just trying a Hail Mary at the end of it. Hand off Haynes. This time Haynes has some room outside. Got a first down. 3 seconds left. And does Queen City try a 53-yard field goal at the end of the first half? But more terrific runs from T.E. Haynes, who is just dominating Carolina. We'll see how the Corsairs close out this half. This is going to be a 53-yard field goal for the Corsairs. If they put this through, it's just their night. From 53 yards away, Corsairs' A.J. Shipp is the kicker. And that kick is short, just barely. And that's the end of the first half. A half to forget for Carolina. Skyhawks, nothing. And Queen City, 24. The 2K Sports Halftime Report is on its way next. This is the SFL Network. Carolina gets the ball to start the second half. From the 9, Spurgeon on the return to the 29. So Carolina just over 100 yards in that first half. Sean Harrelson and Alex Zeli have a combined 0 catches. Queen City's corners, Eric Arrington and Freeman Pelty, are having a phenomenal night. Split backs in the backfield. Harrelson is at the bottom of the screen. And the handoff goes to English, who has to stretch it all the way up to the outside. Got a nice stiff arm to pick up 4. But Queen City's defensive line won that battle. And English did what he could with it. Pickup of 4. Again, no time for Carolina to panic. Their best offense is their ground game, and they have to stay with it here. They have the number 2 rushing offense in the league, 159.2 yards per game. Monroe's going to throw on second down. Back to pass, lofts it down the field, tipped and intercepted. Picked off by, trying to get a number. It's the 4th interception of the night for Monroe. Ted Harrison, the corner, defending Hamrack. It was initially tipped by Jesus Salvador. And once again, Jamison Monroe throwing into traffic. 24 interceptions in 10 games. He has just been pathetic. First and 10 at the 40. And off to Haynes. Picks up 3.
Number 26 with the carry. He picks up 3 on the play. Number 92 with the tackle. Second and 7 from Rochitas, 43-yarder. Number 26 with the carry. He picks up 2 yards on the
3rd down and 5 at the Corsair 45 following the Haynes run.
Third and 5. Ball at the 45-yard.
9:22 to go in the 3rd. 3-possession game. And Carolina's defense forced a 3 and out. Short throw. Legacy stayed in bounds. Chopped down by Blake Chance. But Legacy stops on a dime to move the chains to the Carolina 48.
First and 10 from the Star, 48 yards.
In the backfield to Haynes. Picks up 1. 8:40 and counting here in the 3rd. Our next game is tomorrow night, and it's a clash for the North Division crown. Baltimore is 6-3. They just need a win, and they secure a playoff spot and a division title. It would be back-to-back division titles for Baltimore. C.E. Haynes on the carry. Hit from behind by Law, but it'll be 3rd and short at the Carolina 40, 3rd and 2 to be exact. Meanwhile, NYC is bottled up with Queen City, Carolina, D.C., and Cleveland at the bottom of the conference. And the Sailors will be looking to keep pace with either the Corsairs or the Skyhawks heading into that game as well. So big game tomorrow between Baltimore and NYC. Haynes going to get the handoff on a 3rd down and short. He's going to be tackled from behind. And the Carolina Skyhawk defense does get off the field. Batone on the tackle, 4th down for Queen City. And Carolina still has life.
Rochitas have selected to punt. Number 21 is deep to receive.
Queen City punts it away. Carolina nearly got the block. And inside the 10, it'll bounce down to the 4, and Carolina couldn't stop, or Queen City rather, couldn't stop it from going into the end zone, and the Skyhawks get a break. Had a big crowd tonight around the SFL watching tonight. Love seeing that. Servo 222, Landry had Aaron Buda, AJ Caswell, AJ Pick 6, Crazy H, DHMYC, Drew T, DR Sim, Flutter 5, Football Dude, Jason, Kenny G, Lil Mo, Lord Raider, Luthorn, Mighty RX, FBC, NY Nice, Rasty 42 as English picks up 7. San Antonio, Spectacular Pooh, Super Big Mac, TJ Cag, True Shot Caller, Xanthos, Udoncha, and many others who have been involved on the night. T.E. Haynes with a career high 198 rushing yards, and we're just getting started here in the third quarter. He has been unstoppable. Trips off to the right. Handoff goes to English. Straight up the gut. English bouncing off a couple of tackles. First down to the Carolina 38-yard line. And that's a nice play from Carolina because it spreads the defense out a little bit. And Johnny English is so powerful. He gets away from McCoo. He gets away from the nickelback before Morrison eventually brings him down. 6:25 to go in the third. 24-0. Landry Hat is pulling out all the tricks with the stats tonight and loving them for that. Queen City's biggest margin of victory this season is 13 points. They're up by 24 right now. Trips off to the right, Monroe to throw, dumps it off to English. English past the 40 to the 44, a pickup of 6 yards. And the Monroe to English connection has really been the only one that's worked, although Shan Varner has gotten more involved in the offense here in this one. 1:56 to go in the first half. Orlando up on Santa Fe, 24-10. If Orlando could pull the upset as English picks up just a yard, 3rd down and 3 coming up. If Orlando could pull the upset, that would make a lot of people in the Teal Conference very unhappy because the Intimidators would improve to 5-5, take sole possession of first place. And any team that drops to 3-7 would be in some big trouble. Of course, if they lose, it's pandemonium continuing in the Teal Conference. Jay Holder on a 3rd down and 3. He got it. First down to the Carolina 48-yard line. A nice run from Holder. And I like what Carolina is doing here on this drive. They are eking a lot of time off the clock. There's still a lot of time left to be played in this game. And if they can just get a touchdown out of this drive with a good, solid effort, Queen City may second-guess themselves. Out of the eye for Monroe. He will drop to throw. Monroe fires in the middle. Sean Harrelson, first down to the 39-yard line. First catch of the night for Harrelson, and Carolina is back on the move. And just think, if they would have made that field goal from 49 yards away to end the half, they could be driving down to make it a 2-score game. Instead, behind the 8 ball, but Carolina playing a better second half. 24-14, rather, is the score in Orlando. And off to English. And English cuts it back middle wisely, picks up another 3. Clock keeps moving to the Queen City 36. Under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Queen City still on top, 24-0. Carolina trying to slice into the lead. Johnny English bounced on the tackle, and mid-hurdle gets thrown down by Tad Myers. His second tackle, a big 3rd down and 5 for Carolina. Once again, right on the fringe of field goal range. They missed a 49-yard field goal. They elected to punt the ball away on 4th and 2 from the 36, and now they have a 3rd down and 5 from the 34. Carolina has moved the ball tonight. They just have no points to show for it. Out of the shotgun, Monroe. Monroe will drop the pass. Monroe going deep down the field, wide open. It's dropped. Hamrick dropped it. And Shan Varner was hurt. dropped a touchdown pass, and Carolina has to be pulling their hair out, wondering what they have to do to catch a break in this game, and the Skyhawks will have to punt it away again. Queen City is just getting everything to go in their favor tonight. And sometimes, man, there's just nothing you can do. Unreal. That was a score. And that punt is going to bounce out of bounds of the 11. Again, not the greatest punt in the world for Carolina, who's struggling to make an impact on special teams. Both teams are 3-6, battling for the fourth and final playoff spot. T.E. Haynes, 31 carries for 198 yards. He may get the record for most carries in a regulation game this season. Maybe all time if he continues at his pace. On a counter, Haynes, no gain. Gibbs on the tackle. And I look at the scoreboard and I just wonder how in the world Carolina has no points in this game. 3 times they have been inside the Queen City 40 with 0 on the board. Out of the shotgun, Daniel Garcia back to pass. Short throw to the sideline is incomplete. Caswell, the intended target. Still not a catch for Alexander Shayatovich tonight. And Carolina has played a much better second half. There's no doubt about that. They've moved the ball efficiently. They did have that one bad turnover again from Monroe, but their defense has played better. And they're poised to get another stop here on 3rd down and 10 if they can get the right defense out there on the field. They're going to hand it off to Haynes. And that's no gain. Talk about confidence in your defense. That's a bit of an insult to Carolina's offense as Tristan Hatley makes the tackle, and Queen City is basically saying, we do not believe you can score. With 4:41 to go in the third, Tallahassee has kicked another field goal. They're up 19-14 over Oklahoma City. And this punt to the 42-yard line. Spurgeon's got some room up to the Queen City 38. So this will be the 4th time for Carolina inside the Queen City 40. Can they score this time? First and 10 at the 38. Two backs in the backfield for Carolina. Harrelson's at the top of the screen. Johnny English will take the handoff. He'll break off a tackle and then another. And English picks up 7. Shan Varner dealing with some cramping, and he may return to this ball game. He has been a big part of this offense, or a key part of this offense tonight in getting moving. Alex Zeli still without a catch in this game. And Johnny English is getting yards, but Queen City limiting his big play ability. He's only had the one big play, and that was on a check down at the last minute from Monroe. English takes the handoff. Queen City again is just winning the battle on the defensive front. Aquatis Shine blows up the hole. 3rd down and 3 at the 31. And right now, Carolina cannot feel comfortable about kicking a field goal in this situation. Three receivers out of the shotgun for Monroe. 4 down linemen for the Corsairs. Monroe's out of the gun. Back to pass. Throws it short. Looking for the sticks. Oh, they said he was short of the first down. Look at Monroe's gaudy numbers. Garcia's not even over 100 yards on the night. Harrelson is pleading with his coach for forgiveness. 4th and 1 at the 29. And Carolina, they're going to settle for the field goal. Another long one from outside of 45 yards. Carolina, they just have not dialed up the right plays tonight. This kick is from 46 yards away. And finally, Carolina is on the board. So it's a 3-touchdown game. The Skyhawks have cut into the deficit. It's taken them a long time, but they have done it. And if Carolina's defense can pick up another stop, we may have a ball game here, 24-3. From the 7, Greg Caswell on the return up to the 26-yard line with 44 seconds to go in the third. If you missed it earlier, here's another look at the leaderboards from across the league. Trips off to the left side for the Corsairs, whose offense has sputtered here in the third period. Another handoff to Haynes. Haynes just may be a little exhausted. Loss of 1. 196 yards now for T.E. Haynes. But still has not eclipsed that 200-yard mark. He was at 199 earlier in the quarter. Second down and 11. Carolina's defense is clamping down. 14 seconds to go in the first half. Orlando leads Santa Fe 24-21. A shootout brewing there. T.E. Haynes around the edge. Haynes still moving the legs to the 30. Third down and 6. That'll bring us to the end of the third quarter of play from Conpro Field in Buffalo, New York. It's Queen City 24, Carolina 3. This is the SFL Network on Twitch TV. We'll be back to Buffalo after this. It's a third down and 6 for Queen City. They go 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen and press coverage. Haynes gets another carry. Haynes has a first down to the 39. Wow. Just when you think Carolina is going to get a stop, T.E. Haynes with his 180th carry of the night gets a first down, but you can't blame Queen City. He's run the ball so well tonight. Why not stick with what's working, especially against a team that has 2 Gold Star corners? And Queen City and their rushing attack has actually been probably the smartest thing they could have done tonight. Hand off to Haynes. Haynes gets a block. Hit from behind by King. 5.8 yards a carry. 216 yards for T.E. Haynes as Carolina gets to wind some clock here in the fourth quarter.
Second and 4. Ball at the 45-yard.
Daniel Garcia hands off to Haynes. Wow, look at the hole for T.E. Haynes. And I tell you what, T.E. Haynes is going to bump his average up. And if the score holds, Queen City at 4-6 is your current 4th place team in the conference. They have yet to play Louisville. They play Louisville next week. Obviously, NYC has their shot to get to 4-6 with a big victory over Baltimore. Everyone else would be a game back of the Corsairs and possibly the Sailors, possibly the Skyhawks rather, with 2 games to go. Haynes around the left side, still on his feet. T.E. Haynes gets a yard out of that. I have no idea how he did. What a play from Haynes. Making even a 1-yard run look terrific tonight. Again, just 80 yards and a couple of touchdown passes to Jake Legacy for Garcia. No receptions for Shayatovic. They simply just have not needed him. They've worked it with Haynes. Haynes nearly has a first down. He's got another one to the 39-yard line. Wow. There's just no stopping it. It doesn't matter what Carolina dials up. They just can't seem to figure out this Corsair attack. And Queen City is bleeding fourth quarter clock. Again, a tight set. I would expect another run here from Haynes. 9 up close to the line of scrimmage. And off to Haynes, and Carolina was ready for the run that time. Loss of 2. Second down and 12. Another tackle for Gibbs. But down to 8.5 to go in this game, and Queen City is literally sucking the life out of the Skyhawks.
2nd and 11.
8:20 to go. Carolina needs a pick 6 or something. Back to pass Garcia. He's going long. Caught! Open for the first down is Howland. What is that? 8 or 9 rushes in a row, and then Daniel Garcia drops back to pass, and Howland is wide open. They just can't win. And again, Tony Willis was the man in coverage. Daniel Garcia is throwing to any receiver, any and everyone who is not being defended by Maurice Spurgeon or Blake Chance tonight. It has been as brilliant of a game plan as you could get, and Queen City's gotten a little help from some poor play and some unlucky play out of Carolina. Hand off to Haynes. Haynes dropped in the backfield, a loss of 2. Spurgeon on the tackle. Carolina now most certainly needs a turnover.
He loses 2 yards on the play.
And my apologies, T.E. Haynes is out of the game. He's exhausted. The backup is now in for the Corsairs, and he was the one that had that 2-yard loss. Corsairs are still going to milk the clock and picks up maybe a half a yard. 3rd down and long with 7:10 and counting.
No gain on the play.
7 minutes to go in this fast-moving second half.
Let's go, D. We gotta make tackles.
And out of the eye, Garcia gives it to the back, who breaks off tackle back inside. Didn't get the first down, but Queen City has run about 5 minutes off this clock. I don't think they've stopped the clock once on this drive. But a field goal coming for Queen City, which would neutralize anything that Carolina has done up to this point in the second half. End of the third in Oklahoma City. This game is moving quickly. 29-yard field goal, 28 yards officially for Queen City is good, and we're back to a 24-point lead for the Corsairs, and I think you can stick a fork in Carolina now. There's a tremendous drive by Queen City, and there's just nothing that Carolina's been able to do right tonight as that field goal sneaks inside the left upright. From the 10, Spurgeon spins off a tackle, gets to the 29. 5:57 to go. Carolina needs a miracle. This has been a quick game, 121, 1 hour and 21 minutes. I've been looking at too many stats tonight, and we're almost done here. Post-game show will follow the action around the league, so stay tuned for that. English takes the handoff, breaks the tackle. McCoo wraps him up. A combined stop with Morrison, a pickup of 6 yards for English. But Carolina can't waste too much more time here. They got to go.
2nd and 3 from the stall, 36-yard.
5:35 left. Orlando has put up another touchdown. 10-12 left in the third, back up by 10. And off to English, lost a couple. 61 yards on 18 carries. Not a strong night for Mr. English. 3rd down and 5, and down 3 scores with about 5.5 to go. Carolina comes out with a couple of runs. Queen City home cooking, trying to improve to 4-1 at home this season. 0-5 on the road though. Monroe, deep ball down the field. Oh, I don't know how that was caught. What a play by Harrelson. First down to the Corsair 45. What a catch. Monroe had no business throwing that one. English has to catch it on an awkward play. Loss of 2. 2nd and 12. Out of the gun, back to pass. Monroe. Deep ball down the field. Overshot his intended receiver, Hamrack, and that's probably a good thing because he was double covered. Alex Zeli, a disappearing act tonight. No catches. I'm not even sure he's been targeted.
Let's go.
4 receivers, 2 to either side, and an empty set for Monroe. Down 27-3. Carolina has not showed up tonight. Back to pass. Monroe fires it short, knocked away again. That was McCoo. 4th and 12. And if you're Carolina, if you feel like you got any fight left in you, you go for it. But if not, you just punt it away. They've not been able to do anything tonight, and the offense is going to stay on the field. And you'd have to think this is the last chance for Carolina. Monroe out of the gun, back to pass. And Monroe throws it short, nobody open, and that's likely the ball game. Jeez. Arrington with the tackle. And Harrelson was covered, and we don't get to see the rest of the receivers who went out in the pattern, but not even close to converting. So Carolina is up against it. They'll fall to 3-7. Their next 2 games are against the two of the top 3 teams in the conference. The Skyhawks would need a miracle turnaround to salvage a season that looked so promising last week and has looked so miserable tonight. Haynes, another first down. This guy gets the Ironman award, and Lord knows, I mean, he's got fresh legs. The guy didn't even have 100 carries coming into the night. He's probably the least, he probably has the least amount of carries out of any gold back by far in this league, and so he's making up for lost time. We're under 4 minutes to go. Two in the backfield for Queen City. They're going to hammer it away again off that left side, breaking a tackle. I'm telling you what, Haynes is an absolute beast. Picks up nearly another first down, and the clock continues to move. Oklahoma City has scored another touchdown, 28-19. And we have gotten word that we're having a serious issue. We've lost video on from the Arashi Dome in Orlando. We're going to try to correct that as soon as possible, but until then, we want to provide you with score updates. That game is in the 3rd quarter, but serious technical difficulties in Orlando, and we're going to have to keep you alerted via text while we get that corrected. We'll work on that as soon as possible. Maybe some early signs of a hurricane in Orlando. Some gusts of wind blowing out some power there. 3rd down and 1. The clock is moving very quickly in this game. 2 in the backfield, 2.5 to go in the 4th. Again, we'll keep you updated with score updates as I'm getting word that the issue is a bit serious, not an easy fix. This is another first down for Queen City. This is insane. Somebody needs to do some serious film work on the Corsairs' rushing attack because they are monsters tonight. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. This is the SFL Network. do have a score update from Orlando. Santa Fe has scored a touchdown. It's a 9-yard touchdown for Nick T. Quick. There's 7:26 to go in the third. It's a 3-point game. We'll continue to keep you posted as games finish up around the league tonight. T.E. Haynes breaks off a tackle. Timeout Carolina. No gain. 2nd and 10. T.E. Haynes has to be over 40 carries tonight and approaching the record for carries in a game. And off right side, Willis can make the tackle. Carolina calls a timeout. Again, if you missed the most recent update from Orlando, Santa Fe has scored a touchdown. Wilson to Nick T. Quick, a 9-yard score. 7:26 left. Orlando will get the ball. We'll keep you updated on turnovers and scoring plays as best we can. The post-game show will start following the conclusion of Tallahassee OKC as Santa Fe Orlando, as we continue to try to fix that feed. Bobby Law makes the stop in the backfield. Timeout Carolina, so field goal coming for Queen City. It'd be from 50 yards out or 49 yards out. And Queen City instead will just punt it away. Why not? This punt will go out of bounds. Not the best effort there at the 16-yard line. So again, our next game is tomorrow, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. It's the battle for the North Prize, Baltimore and NYC. Baltimore trying to clinch a playoff spot and a title. Meanwhile, NYC is trying to stay with the Queen City Corsairs. Queen City and NYC meet in Week 12, and they certainly do not want to fall behind with 2 games to go. Trips off left side, back to pass. It's a flip out to English, who breaks off a tackle, breaks off another, and gets out past the 30 to the 31. No huddle for Carolina as they move down the field. Again, post-game show will start once Tallahassee and OKC is finished. We're tracking Santa Fe and Orlando, but we've had some serious technical issues from the Arashi Dome in Florida. .120 remaining. In this one, anyway. Three receivers off left, 2nd down and 10 at the 31. Queen City, a very impressive victory tonight. They approached Carolina in about as best of a way as they could. English on the outside, he looks a little gassed, gets out of bounds. It's 3rd down and 5. We have another update from Orlando. Orlando has scored a touchdown. They have driven down the field and scored. Pyatt to Zach Clark, a 4-yard touchdown. With 3:36 to go in the third, Orlando is back up 10 on Santa Fe. Back to pass, Monroe fires it outside, caught by Zeli. Wow, finally we see Zeli, and Carolina's not even going no huddle. How about this? Jamison Monroe with more passing yards than Daniel Garcia tonight. Hasn't much mattered. Under a minute to go. It's 4th and inches. Carolina taking their sweet old time for whatever reason. Split backs with 2 receivers. And back to pass is Monroe. Monroe, deep ball is knocked away. Pass intended for Zeli, and victory formation is coming up for Queen City. Wiener knocks it away, and the Corsairs are going to improve to 4-6, 4-1 at home, but 0-5 on the road. Their road woes well documented. But Con-Pro Field has been comfortable. So the final victory formation, I'm looking for a score update on OKC and Tallahassee, trying to figure out when the postgame show will begin. Obviously tracking Orlando and Santa Fe in that big game, and we're so sorry that we're not able to get you a feed of this game. I'm being told that the outages is affecting the on-demand recording process as well. So we're trying to get that back up and running, but the game is moving along, and because it's in the second half, we can't do anything but continue to let it go. 5 minutes to go in the fourth in Oklahoma City, and this is the end of this ball game. Final score, Carolina 3 and Queen City 27. So here's what we've got. We've got Santa Fe and Orlando late in the third quarter. Orlando up 38-28. OKC is up on Tallahassee 28-19 with 5 minutes to go. The postgame show starts when Tallahassee and Oklahoma City comes to a close. And during the postgame show, we'll continue to track Santa Fe and Orlando. This is the SFL Network, and Carolina improves.